Today, me and Minotaur are going to be brutally rating every single attacker in Rainbow Six Siege, and we disagreed on a lot of them, so make sure you stick around to the end because I'm sure you'll find our debates interesting. I do have to let you guys know that my recording did mess up, so my mic quality is not the best in this video, but hopefully you guys can go on to enjoy it anyway. And then the last thing I'm going to say before this video starts is if you guys agree or disagree with us, let us know down in the comments, let us know who you agree with. We also recorded the Defender tier list ranking that is over on Minotaur's channel. I'll leave everything linked at the top of the description. So, starting off with Striker, the new recruit attacker. What are your thoughts, Minotaur? Because from what I've seen, the fact you're going to be able to pair an impact EMP grenade with a hard breach charge seems very strong, and it's causing a lot of controversy.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with every new operator is that no one knows quite how to rank them. People thought Solus and Fenrir were going to be horrible, and guess what? They're absolutely game-breaking. I don't think Striker is as strong as people seem to think.
No,
she's not S tier, that's for sure.
No.
I think either A or B, honestly.
See, I think we can make adjustments later, but for now, I'm going to go high end of B tier, because other than that one combo, I don't think you're going to be able to bring much more use to the team. I think if you have someone running, say, a Thatcher and a Thermite, it will still be stronger, especially considering you're just poking tiny holes in the wall rather than like an actual full-on hard breacher like Thermite.
I think another possibility is you take your secondary shotgun, open something in the floor, and then just toss a bunch of flashbangs and grenades through to help with an Amaru rush or something.
So moving on to the rest of the operators, starting off then with Ace. In my opinion, Minotaur, I genuinely think Ace is my favorite hard breacher in the game, and I think he belongs in S tier.
See, I was thinking of this. I was thinking of this the other day because, you know, he is the first stop we'll be ranking other than the new recruit. But I think he's A. I think he's A, honestly.
You think he's A tier?
Yeah.
I think he's better than Hibana, and I think Thermite, which I might just skip over to him now. I think Thermite is also S tier. I think they're both very, very useful operators to the team.
Ace is very versatile. His gun is absolutely fantastic. I just don't think he quite has like the enough to make him S. I mean, we can leave him there. Thermite, though, I completely disagree with him being S. Like, he's not bad. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I would have trouble sleeping if we put him anywhere below B, but I don't think he's S.
See, my thought process is when I think about operators that will single-handedly, you need at least one hard breacher, he is fundamental to the team. That's why I was putting him S. But if I had to bump one of these down, I would agree with you. I think Thermite is definitely the lesser, and I would put him in A.
Thermite really shines when it's an exterior breach, like basement on chalet or consulate. The second the wall is inside, you want your gun up. You don't want to have this silly animation of you putting it on the wall. Yeah,
okay, I feel that. Once again, if we get towards the end of this, we can rejig them, and if you want to put Thermite high end of B tier, we can. But let's just move on for now. Amaru, I don't know about you, very hit or miss operator. I genuinely think she belongs in C tier because of how inconsistent she is.
See, this is funny because I think you are being way too generous with some of these. Amaru sucks. Amaru's horrible.
Generous. Okay. I feel like 80% of the time it doesn't work. You rush in, you die.
I just think it's more of like you don't want just Amaru. You want people making noise elsewhere. You want Amaru to come up from behind. You don't really want to just send Amaru in. That never works. So many things have to go right for Amaru to do anything. I just don't think that, like, Amaru sucks, man. I don't know how else to say it.
Well, you know what? I'm going to compromise with you here. I'm going to go D. I'll put her high end of D. I will give you that. Now, next up, I hope we agree on this one. I really like Ashe. I don't think she's S tier, but I think she's good for beginners and for anyone, no matter what rank you're in, really.
We disagree.
We disagree again.
Ashe is S tier, right. S tier, S tier.
I'm okay with compromising with that as well. I do think she's very good.
There are now 36 operators on defense, if we consider the new recruit. Ashe counters all of them, except people who don't place anything like Warden and Jaeger and Wamai. Those counter Ashe, but she can break mirrors now. True. Any head holes, so you can just turn that into a rotate and walk through. Deployable shields, gone. Like, there's so much that Ashe just immediately counters. She has fantastic guns. She's almost a must pick. Like, she counters almost everything in the entire game. I don't see a reason not to bring Ashe. I suck at Ashe, okay, because I'm not exactly good at gun skill. I'm more of a utility guy, but I'd still bring Ashe every once in a while just to like tackle some problems, you know? Ashe is amazing.
Okay, Well, I propose this then. What do you think of Zofia? Where would you put Zofia on this tier list? Because I get this a lot when I make my TikTok videos and my shorts and stuff. When I say Ashe is good and I say Zofia's bad, a lot of people say that Zofia does what Ashe does, but it's just slightly slower, but then she attributes more with her gadget.
I mean, still doesn't counter Mirrors. The flashbangs are nice,
I agree with that.
but they don't quite make up for the fact that you're so incredibly slow. There's a lot more recoil on the gun. I think she's either A or B.
So I think I would go B. I don't know what it is. I just don't like playing Zofia, and whenever I play her, I assume she's one of my like lowest KD operators, and I don't see how, because Ashe is like one of my higher and one of my more played operators.
All right. We're good with that. I'm good. I'm good with that.
Blackbeard. What are your thoughts on Blackbeard, and what do you think the Blackbeard rework should be?
The first part's really easy, but the second part's difficult. First part, he sucks. He's horrible. Like, even if you ignore the gadget, he has the worst assault rifle in the game.
I agree.
It does average damage with the slowest rate of fire by almost 100 rounds a minute. Like, that's actually insane just how bad that gun is. The rifle shield, the debuff, even if you go to swing a corner, they can see the shield before you're around the corner, and so they just pre-fire you. Like, there's no getting, there's no winning with that gadget. It's so bad.
No. And just to top off how bad the gun is, it doesn't even have a big magazine or anything either. Right, well, at least we agree on one operator in this video, at a bare minimum. What about Blitz? Because me and you played a game before this recording, and we were talking about the shield rework. I think all the shield operators in the game right now are in a very strong position.
I agree.
Out of the three, which one's your favorite? Ignoring Clash, I mean like Blitz, Montagne, and Fuze.
Starting with Monty, let's say that you're in a bit of a pickle. Okay, things are not going your way. You just extend your shield. And then you're just good to go now. Like,
I think Monty's good for people who don't fully understand positioning yet. It is very forgiving.
Yeah, Monty honestly is actually an S tier this season. Now with the shield rework, like he can run full sprinted, go through barricades, and then he has a get out of jail free card. He has hard breaches, he has impact EMPs. He's amazing. He's definitely S tier in my opinion. I'm curious to hear what you think.
He is flourishing with the rework. I think he got the biggest buff out of all the shield operators, because Fuze, he's still not really a shield operator. I would still run the AK-12 if I was forced to play him. Blitz obviously could sprint anyway, so that one didn't change as much, but I feel like Monty being able to sprint when not fully shielded, still being able to fully shield. So overall, I agree with you. I think S tier. If I had to put Blitz on this, I'd go probably A tier, maybe high end of B.
I agree with that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do
agree with that. And then as for Fuze, I think out of the three, in terms of a shield aspect, I'd go B. But because of how strong those grenades can be, especially if you know what you're doing and on certain maps, I'd put Fuze in A as well, but not as a shield operator perspective. I think he would probably be lower if you're running a shield.
His shield is definitely the worst, except for Blackbeard.
Yeah.
You can't just walk over to people like Monty. You can't run over to them like Blitz. You kind of have to let them come to you, which is they're not really gonna do.
We got Brava, we got Twitch, and we got Flores. Pros and cons of all of them. Which one's your favorite? Let me know.
The problem with these drone operators is it really depends on your team.
Yeah, and it also depends who you're coming up against, definitely.
Yeah, like you have to wait for your team. Like if you are in a solo queue environment or even duo queue, they all suck. But like if you have a full stack that, you know, doesn't play it like it's Call of Duty, like they actually just like take their time with things, and they actually use the full round timer, these are really good ops, each of them.
I think it all comes down to what is the utility that they have. Like if they have bulletproof cams, you want a Brava. If they have something like a mirror, you might as well bring a Twitch. And then if they got like a lot of deployable shields and stuff like that, then you were going to want to bring a Flores. But swapping between them, I think they're all a similar kind of level when it comes to operators. I think all of their loadouts are also quite average. I'm not an F2 lover personally, so don't come for me in the comments, guys.
Use the 417. I'm just saying, use the 417.
Yeah, 417 is definitely the best weapon on Twitch right now. So where would you put these three operators on the tier list? Do you reckon they all deserve the same tier, or do you think there is a clear one of the three that's worse?
I think Twitch is A tier. I think the other two are B tier.
Okay. And you know what? I think most people in the community would agree with you there. I'm going to keep Zofia on the very edge of B tier. I think she's one of the contenders to maybe drop. All right, next up we have Buck. Tell me your opinions on Buck, because I'm sure we'll agree.
Buck is a one-man army. He's amazing.
One-man army. He's amazing. Shotgun for close range. The shotgun, by the way, does way too much damage. It's like its own viable weapon.
I think we're shooting two different weapons there. It's utility. It's not meant for actually killing people. I do agree. Buck is an S tier. Everything about him is great, except if you use the shotgun as a weapon. That's not great.
Well, I think it's viable. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Next up, we have Capitao. Now, I have a feeling you're going to disagree with me on this one, because ever since I started playing the game, I've never really been able to use Capitao. I think it might just be my playstyle, but I can never get the most out of him, and I don't think he's that great of an operator.
So where are you placing him?
If this was only my tier list, I would put him in C tier. Maybe low end of B, but I think he's C.
C for Capitao. I don't know. I think.
What do you think?
Because he's kind of a one-man army like Buck. Decent gun. He has He has hard breaches. He has a way to move people, and he has a way to be sneaky about it. I think he's good, but he's nowhere near as good as Buck. Maybe A or B. You kind of need a team. Like you kind of need callouts for it to work properly. Like if you just burn people on rafters, they're just gonna move. Like you kind of have to think about how you use it a bit. Like I don't think it's A, but I don't agree with C either.
So I think we can compromise and go B, because as I said, other tier lists, I've probably put him in B before, and he's not really changed that much over the years either, so I don't see why he would go down into C. Okay, so what about Deimos? Because obviously he released last season. The last time I did a tier list, it wasn't released to the public yet, and now that we've had a full season with him, what do you think of him?
Man, I don't really see him ever. I'm not saying he's on a level with Clash, okay, but it's the same thing where lower ranks find him a lot scarier than he is.
I would definitely rather come up against a Deimos than say a Jackal or a Dokkaebi,
Same,
which I think is the other operators that he's contending with for that position.
Honestly, maybe B or C. I think one of the two.
See, I would agree. I'd go probably low end of B tier, because I think if used right with a good team comp, you can get a lot of use out of him. When you're using his gadget, you don't really want to be using it as an intel gadget for yourself. You kind of want to be using it and giving callouts to your team and letting them go deal with it, because you're also putting yourself at a lot of risk. I'd go low end of B tier when used right.
All right.
This C tier is looking very empty, by the way. So when it comes to the end of the video, we might have to drop a few and then put a few up. But we'll have to wait and see. Dokkaebi, though, I think we're both going to agree, is arguably the strongest attacker in the game right now, and I think it's why she's getting a nerf soon. Till that happens, I think she definitely belongs in S tier.
No, I don't think so, but I also think that my opinion on Dokkaebi is quite skewed, because as an anchor, primarily, I don't really like roaming. If I do roam, it's shallow, so it's not that big of a deal for me. Half the time, I don't even bother answering it, because it doesn't matter, and you're probably think, oh, they kill you, right? But no, they don't, because I baited people with it. I baited someone into a cap can with it before. I don't find it that scary.
Yeah.
Second reason is that I'm also not very good with DMRs. So whenever I've tried Dokkaebi, I've gotten some absolutely abysmal whiffs. Dokkaebi is not bad for roam clearing, like really good for roam clearing, but strongest operator, that's a bit much.
One of the strongest. Like these three, maybe four with Ash. Let me look at who else we are yet to rank. I genuinely think these might be like the best four, maybe five. I think there might be one or two other operators that will contend in S tier, but other than that, I don't think we have anyone else joining them.
In my, humble opinion, the humblest of humble opinions, A tier, but if you want to keep them in S, go ahead.
I feel like I've given in a few times so far, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my ground this time.
Yeah,
I'll leave her right on the edge of S tier, dropping down into A, but I'm gonna keep her in S tier.
Yeah, I mean, you have given in quite a bit, so yeah, you can leave it there. I think Finka isn't that good, personally.
What tier? Because I would go B.
Really? The only time I've ever asked for a Finka, I'm like on coastline trying to get into the metal sheet in the middle of the map. I think that's the only time I've asked for a Finka in case I fall, but like...
Well, what we'll do is we'll do a reshuffle now, and what we want really is like this natural curve, right? Because most operators should be near the middle if it's a perfectly balanced game.
That's right.
So if we are compromising here, I think Zofia and Finka drop. If it was my list, I'd put Capitao down, but because you said A, I think a natural middle ground is B tier. You happy with this so far?
I'm happy with this. Of course,
Okay.
there's a few things that, of course, we disagree on, but yeah, I'm happy with this in general. In general.
So let's kind of get another role out of the way. The hard breacher / hard breach support, I guess you could call Maverick. What do you think about Maverick and Hibana? Where would you put them on this list?
I'm gonna go Hibana first. Because Hibana is much easier to explain. Hibana is the Swiss Army knife of hard breachers. There's nothing that Hibana can't do. She's like Ace, but takes a little longer to do anything, and can actually get hatches, because that's the one part that Ace really falls flat on, is he can only get one reinforced hatch. That's it. I think Hibana is A tier.
I would agree with you on that one. Yep.
It's easy A tier.
I think all the hard breachers need to be in the top 2 categories because hard breachers are so crucial. So I don't think any of the hard breachers could be below A, which now that I'm thinking about it, the new operator could technically be considered as a hard breacher, but I'm not going there. I'm not. But these 3 definitely.
My selection for hard breachers is it outside? Thermite. Is it inside? Probably Ace. But if it's like a basement site, then I take Hibana.
Yeah,
or
that is the way that anyone should deduce it. I think that's the best strat. Yeah, where would you put Maverick?
Oh boy, what do we use Maverick for? First of all, what do you think we use him for?
See, whenever I play Maverick, I maybe don't play him the conventional way. I use him just to poke a tiny hole in, try and be stealthy, and pick off a few people.
In my opinion, Maverick, the only reason you'd bring Maverick, there's 2, is to guaranteed get a wall open, or to try and be sneaky, like trying to get in dirt. Other than that, I mean, like, yeah, you can open a little hole for yourself, but new recruit also does that. You only really pick him if there's a good bandit, or you're trying to be sneaky. I don't think he's S or A.
No, you're gonna go B.
I'd put him below the recruit.
Below the recruit.
Yeah.
Would you go even lower than these operators here? Flores, Brava, Capitao?
I mean, in all honesty, I'd put him C tier, but yeah.
You'd put him C tier?
I would put him C tier.
You know what? Looking at the operators that we have in B, I think I'd put him in C tier as well. High end of C. And depending on who else we put in C tier and B tier, maybe I change my mind later. But for now, I think it looks right putting him in C tier. Okay, right. So let's move on to the operators that start with G. We have Glaz, Grim, and Gridlock. Straight away, I'm just going to go out here and say it. On console, I don't think Glaz is a good operator. But every time I put Glaz really low on a tier list, everyone in my comments says that on PC, he's like the best frag operator. And I just can't tell if they're in copper, but I've got enough of those comments now that I don't know where to put him anymore.
They're lying to you.
Where'd you put Glaz? They're lying.
They're lying to you. He's not very good. He can smoke and then see through the smoke, but guess what? Just don't peek it. It doesn't take a genius.
With everything we've just said about Glaz and Maverick, I think when you have those 2 together and you create a smoked off kill hole on an exterior wall, that is like one of the best combos in the game. I'm not gonna lie to you.
If you have this very specific combination with another operator, then it's good. Like, no, that's not really that good of a reason. That being said, he's close to D, but I'd say that he's probably low C. I'm
willing to compromise on that. That's fine.
I am completely fine with him being a D, though. I'm just saying, I'm completely fine with that.
Yeah, well, we'll put him in C tier because I do think he is slightly better than Amaru and Blackbeard. I think there is at least a use case for him, whereas Amaru is 90% just going to kill yourself early round, and Blackbeard is the worst attacker in the game right now.
Well, I actually disagree with that, but we'll get to that later.
Oh, okay. Wait, I have 2 guesses at who that could be. But yeah, we'll stay tuned. The viewers have to wait for that one. What about Gridlock? Because Gridlock has always been like seen as this underrated operator who's always around like the A tier.
I am like 80% sure people don't play Gridlock just because of how she looks.
Yeah.
Like, no one is saying that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
I want Siege, April Fool's event joke. I want Gridlock and Iana to switch bodies. Right? And I want to see what the pick rate is for that season.
Oh my, okay.
Gridlock's pick rate would go through the roof.
It probably would, yeah. Gridlock is really, really good. Like, from the objective, ignoring how things look.
I reckon high end of A tier.
I completely agree. There's nothing really bad about Gridlock except for her speed.
No, I think she exceptionally excels post-plant situations.
Yeah, even
she's
well
essentially barbed wire on attack, which, while we're here talking about noise, I think Ram does almost an identical job. R4C, vertical play, lots of noise as distraction. She's got it all, really.
Ram is like almost a must pick if it's a basement site, especially like Canal.
Yeah, it's just the fact that she can make those vertical holes while still watching her back for flanks and stuff while they're making the holes. It's just, she's one of the best for doing that, especially like you say on basement objectives. What about Grim? Because he's gone over a major makeover, because when he released, did not release in a great spot. And then people have kind of warmed up to him.
Do we take out another fancy hot take, or do we be humble about it?
Well, I think you're going to say S tier, but I don't think we go there.
Yeah, my opinion is he's better than Dokkaebi.
See, okay, I'm gonna have to post this on Twitter later. Because you let me have Dokkaebi in S tier, I'll let you have Grim in S tier. How about that? Is that fair?
That sounds really fair. I also like how you always let me have my way. That's also really cool.
I hope I get the same treatment on the Defender tier list.
Maybe. I'll see.
Right, what about Iana then? Because she's kind of been changing a lot with her secondary gadgets. Obviously, she had frags. Frags got reworked. She got them removed. She then had stuns, and now haven't they been removed from her now?
I used to hate Iana on principle, just because of the people that would play Iana. But when she lost her grenades and they all kind of left, I started playing Iana. Iana's amazing. Like, it's so useful for finding out where enemies are. Like, it's completely scot-free. You can just drone infinitely. It's amazing. I think minimum A tier, personally.
Yeah, I would agree. Unlimited amount of intel on attack. Basically an unlimited number of drones. If you're good at the game, it's great because you can use that info. If you're new to the game, it's great because you can scout ahead and not die to some random dude in the corner. She's just always going to be a great pick, no matter what skill level you're at.
Yeah, I agree.
Next up is IQ. I want to know your opinions on IQ because I'm going to be completely honest here. I don't think she's great.
The funniest part about that is I was going to be like, I want to hear your opinion first.
I'll just go out here and say it, right? I don't think IQ's that great. I've done tier lists before where I've put her in high end of C tier. I would put her in like the mid-range of B. I think once again it comes down to who would I rather play, right? Even if she is useful to the team, I think there's other operators above her that are just more engaging for me. You know, all the brain receptors in my head are firing when I'm playing someone like Buck.
How often have you asked for an IQ?
Not a lot.
Exactly.
To be completely honest.
I did once because this one team banned Brava and then mained Maestro. Yeah. Switched to IQ just to hunt down Maestro, and it worked, but that's not very common. It was a very one-off thing.
Would you agree with B tier?
Yeah, she can stay B tier.
Is that where you would have put her, or would you have put her lower?
I would have put her C, honestly.
You would have put a C. Okay, because what I was proposing to you is it looks wrong having Zofia below IQ, so I think we swap them.
Exactly.
Jackal.
In my opinion, C segment on Dokkaebi. As an anchor, oh no, I'm being Jackal tracked. Oh no, whatever shall I do?
Who would you rather come up against as a defender?
Jackal.
Jackal.
Yeah. His gun's better, in my opinion. Like, the C7 is amazing, but...
Yeah, I would even go as far to say even the PDW is a very, very strong SMG.
I agree.
I would definitely go around A tier.
I think Dokkaebi and Jackal bans are either comfort bans or they just don't know what else to ban.
Right, what about Kali? Because I think snipers in general in Siege, they're just not great. I mean, her utility is good if Thatcher's banned, but other than that, no.
Do you remember when I said that I had a hot take for the worst operator in the game? It's Kali.
Oh,
Kali is
you think Kali
horrible.
Is the worst?
Horrible operator. Like, don't get me wrong, the gadget is all right. Like, it has its uses, but a sniper rifle in a close quarters game, it's even bolt action. Who approved that? It is horrible. And I saw this comment once where it was like, I'd rather have my randoms play a Kali because they only need to hit one shot. That's also only one chance to hit the shot. If they miss it, they're screwed. Kali's horrible in my opinion. Like, I can't stand Kali. Like,
well, I would definitely put Kali like low end of C, maybe high end of D. Would you say, well, you think she's the worst operator in the game? I wouldn't go that far. I'd say maybe even above Amaru for me. I'd maybe go that if it was my tier list personally. But
if it was my tier list, we'd add an extra 2 tiers and then put Kali at the bottom. I can live with that. I can live with this.
Now, for me, Lion, no matter where or how good you think he is, always goes right next to Finka, because they work very similarly, but instead of health, it's like just a scan. But Lion can just be countered by anyone in the game just by not moving. I guess the only real good reason to bring a Lion is like if you already have intel on someone, you can use it and then pre-fire. But other than that, not the greatest operator.
I disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah, that's
Think
right.
higher?
I do. I think he's much higher. Like A tier, yeah. The way that you're supposed to use his gadget, you're not really just supposed to, I'll give it a shot. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to use the gadget when you're trying to cement something, like a plant or a push. Let's say that there's a head hole. You need to take out this area. You hit your line scan and you get going. They have two choices. They either let you go up to the head hole and then just shoot them, or they can swing you. But it pings them as they swing you, so even before they're coming around the corner, you see the icon and you can pre-fire. I think Lion is great if you know how to use him. I think he's one of my top picks. He's not S, but he's also not C in my humble opinion.
Even though I said he's next to Finka in C, Lion's actually one of my most played attackers in recent seasons. Even though I think he's down there.
I think he's great, honestly. Like if you want to put him lower end of A or even B, like I get that. I don't think most people know how to play him properly.
That's not my problem. If you want to put Lion up here, that's fine, but I think Finka has to come up because Finka's very similar. If you want to like concrete a push or a plant, you can stim up, you can swing, gives you that extra HP in a fight.
I don't know. Sure, leave it at B. Leave it at B. Leave it at B.
No, you're making me feel silly now. But I think Nokk is C.
It looks
maybe even D.
Looks not very good.
I don't know why they removed half of what she was as an operator, which was Silent Step. Even when Nokk had Silent Step, all she was really good for was sneaking around and fragging. But I think where they've taken away the Silent Step and they've made it so you can see when a Nokk is disrupting a camera, it's just made her half of an already pretty mid operator in my opinion. So even before those like changes, she was probably a B at most. And yeah, she's definitely low end of C, high end of D in my opinion.
I don't have any strong feeling that she should be in D or C. I just think that she's bad. So wherever you want to put her, then yeah.
I genuinely think Ubisoft needs to just reintroduce it back in some way. Nomad for me, only really a great operator in solo queue. I feel like when you're playing with a good team, not really higher than maybe a B tier.
She's my go-to flank watch personally. Like if I ever want, it's like I don't want to be flanked, I take Nomad just because it's like, what are you supposed to do with gridlocks? You can, if you really want to. It's like I've had people just go through the gridlocks. Like I have. It worked, but it was really stupid. But with Nomad, there's no just sneaking past it. I don't think. I agree with B tier. Still my favorite flank watch, but not as good as Gridlock.
Osa I think is also pretty mid. She can just be countered by a C4. Even impacts still do damage to her. I'd probably go B as well.
If you are a busted Osa main, like I believe Macy J is, and you spam the impact EMPs when someone tosses a nitro, that works really well, like from what I've seen, but that takes skill that I unfortunately don't have. Looking at the B tier operators, I think she looks right at home. I think to leave her at B.
Okay. Well, we'll leave her there then. Sens for me, also in D tier. We were talking about this as well in our game before. Fun to play. I'm very happy that they have like their own unique weapon. I think it gives them some kind of identity. But I just think when it comes down to, oh, you need an operator to bring something to the team, Sens doesn't offer much when you can just bring a Thermite and have smokes, or a Gridlock and have smokes. There's just other operators in the game that are just better.
I would go as far as to say that in a standard environment, not ranked, but in standard or casual, Sens is higher than D tier, but in ranked, I think Sens is a lot less useful, but very fun, but not as useful. I would personally move Sens above Amaru.
Yeah, the difference is Amaru, they kill themselves, so you don't have to worry about them. With Sens, they can actually hinder the team. They can block your lines of sight on people.
That's true.
That's true. Make it worse for you.
All right, you know what? Yeah, I'll give you that. They can really screw up your teammates. You make a good point.
Very similar argument with Sens is Ying, because you can blind your teammates, but I think we both agree Ying is actually a much more viable operator because she can flash a whole room and she's just strong.
If there is one attacker ban in the entire game that I can always just insta-ban an operator, I'm banning Ying. I hate Ying so much. I've had people tell me, oh, just play Warden. Maybe I don't want to. Maybe I want to be useful to the team. I'd say A tier. Personally,
I would also get A tier because looking at the operators in B tier, I think she's stronger than all of them, and then moving our way up through, I'd argue maybe around this point. I feel like Jackal and above, they're probably more consistently good. You know what I mean?
Ying kind of just walks through my team a lot of the time. It's like my team doesn't really do much, but then once she's out of Candela's, it's kind of like, don't you feel silly?
Moving on over then to Sledge, Thatcher, and Zero. Those are our last 3 operators. Once again, if you're watching the video, you've made it this far, thank you. Check out Minotaur, link in description, and also let us know where you agree, disagree. But Sledge, where would you go? For me, when I first started playing Siege, he was my favorite operator. It's actually my main for the first few years. And then over the years, he's just been getting worse and worse and worse. And he finds himself in quite a bad spot at the moment.
I still think he's A tier.
You still think he's A tier?
It's too simple of a gadget to be bad, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't think
I do agree.
Like, if you take Sledge to knock down wall, then that's what's gonna happen.
My only thing is, since Ram got added, playing vertically with a Sledge is not as necessary, and I feel like that's what made him good. Like, Sledge and Buck were the versatility kings before that, and with Ram, I would say I'd rather have Ram than a Sledge, and Sledge has kind of become slightly less important to me.
Yeah, I think
so I'd go high end of B.
Introduction of Ram was definitely a big hit to Sledge. Yeah, I guess we can leave him at B. Yeah, actually, yeah, we'll leave him at B. That works for me.
Okay. Thatcher, are we just going to agree that probably belongs in S tier? If he's not banned, he counts as everyone.
No one wants to play Thatcher. You're forced to play him.
No. Although the AR-33 is underrated in my opinion.
He's rarely ever banned in my lobbies. Honestly, people have bigger concerns. I don't think he's S. I mean, like, are you really going to use the entire EMP to, what, get rid of an Elemine? I don't know about that. He's just for getting walls open.
Yeah, I also kind of agree with you here. It depends on the map, because once again, like, Chalet, way more important. Whereas if you're on a map that doesn't have many exterior walls, or like any, like coastline, then you're not going to need to open anything. So, you know what? I'll agree with you here and go A tier. Okay then, and the final operator, Zero, the jack of all trades. I would put him in A tier.
I'd say A tier if you have a team. If you are solo queuing with this guy, it's absolutely horrible because no one watches cams. And if someone is on cams, they're not actually on cams. They just happen to have their game opened on the cams. They're actually on TikTok. He has a really good gun, though. I will give him that. I think he can belong in A tier. I think that works.
So that is our complete tier list. Let us know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Where do you agree, disagree? If you want to go watch the Defender tier list ranking, I'll leave it linked in the description, as well as Minotaur's channel. Thank you, Minotaur, for joining me here.
Thank you for having me.
I thought we would agree on a lot more, but we've actually had quite a lot of disagreements. You know? Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.
See ya.